Would you like a cup of tea? Chinese tea, British tea, bubble tea. What kind of tea do you prefer? Well, there are all kinds of tea in the world today, but do you know the origin of tea lies in China? In fact, China is one of the earliest countries to plant tea and the cradle land of tea culture. Chinese tea can be traced back 5,000 years. It made its way across the world thanks to the ancient Silk Road and the maritime Silk Road. One of the most famous tea-producing areas in China is Wuyi Mountains in Fujian Province, with a history of producing tea for more than 1,600 years. On March the 22nd, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited an eco-friendly tea garden in Wuyishan, Fujian Province, and learned about local efforts to develop the tea industry. Wuyi is famous for its rock tea, a unique oolong variety. It boasts a particularly roasty taste and flora and fruity aroma. It was already well known during the Northern and Southern dynasties between 420 and 589 AD, and it has been one of the most welcomed types of tea in China and sold to other countries since the 17th century. In ancient times, Wuyi rock tea was mainly exported via two routes. Northwards, it traveled along the 10,000-mile tea road. The journey began in southeast China's Fujian Province, passing through North China, Mongolia, and stretching all the way to Russian cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg before it was sold to the Mid East and European countries. And southwards, it was shipped to countries along the ancient maritime Silk Road. So how popular was Wuyi rock tea exactly? Well, the UK is now famous for its afternoon tea, but dating back centuries ago, Chinese tea has been favored by the British monarch. The famous poet Byron even wrote to express his admirations for Wuyi tea. I feel my heart becomes so sympathetic that I must have recourse to black bohea.
So for the British to find something coming from China, which they already love, which is tea, carrying with it Chinese culture, and then in return, the Chinese learning about Britain through our tea culture.
When Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Russia in 2013, he also mentioned the 10,000-mile tea road that links China and Russia with trade and cultural exchanges. Now, after hundreds of years, under the Belt and Road Initiative, Chinese tea can be seen in almost every corner of the world, and the Chinese tea industry is growing at a faster rate than ever. Now let's turn to Rongshan, a tea businessman in Fujian Province. Rongshan's tea company has expanded its market share in Europe after finding an Italian partner under the Belt and Road Initiative.
跟他们合作完，我们这个茶直接在欧洲进入超市、进入老百姓这个茶馆去销售。所以我觉得我们在这个“一带一路”这一个方面茶产业是可以一个作为中国代表的一个文化元素走出去，让更多的外国人来更深的了解中国的文化。然后真正的也了解到我们中国的这个茶道。
The Chinese tea is going global at a faster pace under the Belt and Road Initiative. In 2020, Fujian Province produced more than 460,000 tons of tea. That's about 65 Eiffel Towers together. Just imagine that. And it exported $480 million worth of tea to countries including Malaysia, Japan, the United States, Vietnam, Singapore, Thailand, Spain, Canada, etc. The Belt and Road Initiative is not only to build a road of trade, but also a road of civilizations.
I am at the Botanical Garden in Rio de Janeiro. This place, this beautiful place, was set up by the King John VI in the very beginning of the 19th century. Here we can find a lot of different kinds of trees and plants that represent the Brazilian nature. But we have a special one, a tea tree.
More than 200 years ago, 80,800 kilometers away from China, the first batch of Chinese people arrived in Brazil with samplings of tea and other tree species. They became the initiators of the China-Brazil exchanges and cooperation. And guess what? More than 200 years later, some of these trees are still alive, having stood witness to the long-lasting China-Brazil friendship. Tea originated in China and became popular in the world. From the ancient Silk Road and other trade routes that saw the flow of tea on horses and sheep, to today's Silk Road economic belt and the 21st century maritime Silk Road, tea has transcended time and crossed borders to win the affection of people from across the world. Now, tea is one of the 3 major drinks in the world, produced in more than 60 countries and regions worldwide and enjoyed by over 2 billion people. Almost all the tea enjoyed by people across the world can be traced back to China. And now let's taste this cup of Fujian tea together.